Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to episode number 66 of our Strategic Command World War II World at War Let's Play series. This is a turn-based grand strategy war game developed by Fury Software and published by Matrix and Slitherine Games. This is episode number 66, as I said, of our series where we're playing as the Allied powers. And the war is not going great for us. The situation in Europe is tenuous. We're falling back in Spain. Russia has been fighting the Battle of Moscow for about a month and a half now. Moscow has been reinforced, but likely won't hold out much longer. In the Pacific, things are going better. We just took Truk last turn. We've liberated all the Mariana Islands, the Philippines, and Okinawa. And overall, things are going better in that theater. But the question is whether we have enough strength to finish off the Japanese in that theater and then shift our resources and assets against the Germans, and whether that will even be enough to overcome the massive material and economic superiority that the Germans have over any one individual nation at this stage in the war. All this gameplay was taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel, where I do conduct those live streams. This was taken a little while ago, probably a little over a week ago now, but we're playing through this series one turn at a time per episode, and I think this is something that I've really been enjoying playing. Things are getting pretty interesting. It's not a steamroller fest like it was when I played as the Axis. I played this playthrough with difficulty turned up a bit, and it's definitely been a big challenge, but I think that's also been why a lot of you have continued to request this, because it's, I think, an interesting series. With that being said, that's enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay, and I'll catch you guys at the end. Japanese morale suffers from the loss of Truk. All of our convoys. Production technology for the British is working its way up. Let's see if this is the turn that Moscow falls. We've been saying that for like almost a year in game, I feel like. The Soviets have certainly been stubborn, but their ability to hit back is basically gone. Japanese destroyers apparently are good at ASW now. And the Shinano is going to bombard us, which is great. Maybe, but I've seen submarines effectively attack units in port without much risk to them. Like, I destroyed a Japanese carrier in port in China at a 0-1 attack odd every time I attacked with that same sub. So, don't know. Man, those Japanese strategic bombers apparently are like firebombing India and Rangoon. They seem to be very effective. At least the Japanese don't have jets yet. Their fighters are still pretty damn effective, though. Well, we just lost another Indian unit. Meanwhile, they're bombing our Air Force there. I guess it's better that they... Well, short term, it's better they bomb my fighters than my ground units. Long term, not so much. Meanwhile, Moscow might get cleared out just by German air power, not that the weather's cleared. Apparently, it's an early thaw. Early March is good weather for the Germans. That's a little bit muddy, but good weather for their aerial units. There's only 2 hit points left in Moscow. They hit a destroyer in port, apparently, with V weapons. What? There goes Moscow. The fall of Moscow. German infantry's moving on Barcelona. Mechanized troops up near north, near Bilbao. They've taken that. They've driven deep into the heart of Spain. Portugal, rip to you. You're a goner. They're trying to break that armor out. So there's a Russian corps hanging on by a thread there, just north of Moscow, to a German panzer unit that's cut off. Meanwhile, their heavy tanks attacking infantry, slightly less successful. There goes the corps. It's dead. Air is inconsistent, Sean Mac. That's my issue. Air units can be incredibly powerful, but apparently not carrier air units, which doesn't seem to match the experience in the Pacific, especially late war. I mean, I'm not saying they're as strong as B-29s, but they certainly should be able to damage ground units effectively. All right, we'll see if we can rail these units out of Vladimir near Moscow and pull them back toward Perth. Supply is also a bit of a problem. I think the Pacific Island supply is not very well modeled. In my current situation, there shouldn't be much difficulty if there's a headquarter on an island bringing supply up. Meanwhile, Soviet morale suffers due to the loss of Moscow. Germany celebrates the fall of Moscow. The USSR moves their government to Perth. Axis plunder 25 MPPs. Argentina is joining the Allies, so that's good for us. Yes, Reener, they are. They're still pretty worthless in attacking ground units. Which I understand, like, you're not going to eliminate islands with carrier air, so maybe that's the logic to making them weaker. German battleship near Hamburg? Great. Two battleships down there. Well, shit. I can control convoys to a degree. If you go into, where do you go for that? World maps. You got a convoy map. I can control, I can see what's being sent, and then I can control Lend-Lease somewhere. Here. Here. All right, so they've got two battleships near Hamburg, which makes me nervous. The weather's good down there, so we could move our carrier air down there, but the Germans probably have jet fighters in the vicinity, right? No, apparently they have no fighter escorts. No fighter coverage for this battleship here. Good news for us. They also have cruisers down there, so they must be building a fleet down there. So we just destroyed a battleship for 566 MPP bonus. I can't hit anything else from here with my carrier except this sub, so we'll do that. We'll hit this battleship in the Kiel Canal. The British carriers are coming through, boys. The only problem is land-based. Oh, another battleship's at Kiel! So another battleship there destroyed at Heligoland Bight. Again, good for morale. Got one more carrier I can swing in here and strike with. Can't reach. Fuck. And the air wing's gone. Lovely. Okay. Well, now I've got to move my escorts down there. American level 2 DDs, where are you at? Go after this level 3 sub. We're also going to be subject to air bombardment for sure. God, that cruiser can't get down there. Neither can that DD. I overextended myself. Heart of a Moderate, thank you very much for the follow. Alright, so the sub dives from attack. We'll get our screening destroyers out. I mean, I can get these guys down here, just not the way I would like. Not where I'm attacking, really. Yeah, I do like the World War I game. It's pretty good. I wonder if this is like an invasion fleet that the Germans are making. So obviously my objective by attacking these guys in port is to head off any kind of German invasion that might be materializing. It'll be interesting to see what they throw against us, though. I'm hoping my destroyers can eat most of the threat. Okay, we'll reinforce this battleship here. And that destroyer. Meanwhile, let's operate these guys further south off the coast of England so I can use maritime bombers against them. We'll operate our fighters down here, hopefully so they can give some cover to the ships if they're attacked, in addition to the air power we already have in that area. Alright, let's move these guys up here. We'll shift a bunch of units around. Reinforce these heavy tanks. So we're preparing for an attack there. Pull these guys back to Cordova. Have these guys pull back to Madrid. We're evacuating. Actually, do we want to undo that? God damn you anti-tank guns and your worthlessness. You can't even attack tanks and destroy them. What good are you? Alright, so we destroyed a couple of naval units. The German Navy is growing rapidly, though. They were at like 22 a few turns ago. They're up to 26, despite the casualties. We just destroyed, what, 2 battleships? Or I think it was 2. Now, this move down here does open up the opportunity for an invasion of Denmark, potentially, which I do think we are well positioned to execute on. Montgomery, I don't really know where to send you. There's not really British units in India. I think there's like 1 British unit down here. Okay. Oh no, enemy tigers! King tigers at that. I'm gonna try and cut them off by moving these guys around their flanks. They'll probably just wipe me out, though. We shall see. You're telling me that Japanese units with 3 supply are worse than Indian units with 5 supply and equal ground attack values? I think that's bullshit. Oh, look, we lost one of our air units. Great. I guess it is an army, and to your point, it is a river crossing, but still! Give me something good. Alright, partisans, keep reinforcing. Keep delaying and distracting Japanese troops here. What about this? The Japanese army here, 1 supply, 13 morale, and they can't, and a corps of Chinese troops with better morale and supply can't do anything against them. And elite troops. 0 to 2. Give me a break. Can't reinforce anything on Okinawa. Interesting. So our escort carriers get an anti-submarine value that is higher than our ships. Huh. I'll bring these guys to Saipan. Joey Bates, thank you, or Bites, thank you for the follow. Appreciated. All right, so we're going to begin concentrating our Air Force over this way. And preparing for the drive. On Japan, some of our units are going to be slightly under strength because I just don't have the time to get them all up to full strength. But that shouldn't matter. What we lack in quality, we should make up for in numbers. Okay. Reinforce the aircraft. Meanwhile, the men back at Pearl. Alright, so that battleship is ready to advance. This carrier needs both aircraft reinforcements and an upgrade of its air wing, so that's 2 turns. This carrier just needs its air wing. You know what's going to happen is I'm going to develop level 4 fighters the second that I get this all sorted out. Okay. Can we upgrade the town for fortifications? Just anti-aircraft, which won't really help at all against enemy battleships. I want long-range transports for the colonial troops. Gimme. Alright, I'm going to send these guys up to Taipei. We'll see if Formosa is unoccupied. I don't think it is, but we'll see. We will experiment with the blood of those troops. Okay. So that's kind of... Alright. You know what's interesting is I can reinforce them twice. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they're Marines, maybe they get special benefits, or because they just unloaded, I'm not sure. But truck is ours. Actually, let's make sure... The Germans aren't going to surprise us with any large-scale shipbuilding program in the Mediterranean. That would be bad. All right, so we did Spain, kind of. Did we do Russia? I don't think we did. The one thing we can attack is German cavalry. That's the only thing. And apparently these cut-off tanks. Now, finally. Well, we drove them back. We didn't destroy them. I can't operate these? Oh, I already moved them. Defensive artillery. Hey, we drove the enemy cavalry back. Charge the enemy horsemen! I know that's probably dumb. But I did it. Anyway. Alright, we'll operate this artillery out to help Perm. Pulling my headquarters units back to try and save the last Soviet capital there. Not sure what good having tactical air in this situation does for me. Meanwhile, new Soviet units. I'm going to place these cavalry units kind of on the flanks, I think. I want to feel out what the Germans might have. So we can see if we can move into Orsk and then maybe Orenburg. Maybe their rear isn't well garrisoned. And I could try and cut some of these rail lines that allow them to operate troops in. I would love if I could just race cavalry up all these secondary lines of advance. Okay. Meanwhile, we do have some anti-aircraft units that are in India that should help a little bit. Okay. Russia can purchase 300 MPPs of stuff. Our tanks are only level 2 tanks, aren't they? I'm curious whether it's worth it. We'll buy one just to see. Probably not. The British have a little bit of money left, not much. They put any money into research? That's really what they need to be doing. They're researching level 5 fighters. Level 5 tanks are almost there. Anti-aircraft defense, they don't have enough money for that. Logistics they do, but I don't know whether that matters or not. They're already investing 2 chits in amphibious warfare. They're at level 3. Command and control probably is an issue for the British too. Ground attack weapons also. We do have 2 tactical bombers with them, and we can't really use them well. Alright. We'll keep that money for the British. Meanwhile, for the Americans, I think there's still units that we haven't... So Venezuela joined. I think Argentina joined as well. And Argentina at least has a corps. So we'll transport them somewhere. I don't know where. We could use these garrison units to just slow the Germans down, although they would end up being casualties, which would hurt our morale. We could try and move them into Spain and Portugal maybe and see if we can slow things down. We probably should have been doing that a while ago if that's what I wanted to do. Use the other allies as cannon fodder. Hopefully the Germans don't start throwing troops on troop ships. They've got a decent enough navy to do it. As the Germans, I did land troops in South America and took over South America. Not BT-7s. They'll be like early T-34s, at least. Yeah, but if you take Tokyo, can you really lose? Also, we're so late in the war that I'm not convinced the Germans would be able to take. I mean, I guess they could take London. They are building up a fleet pretty quickly, so if they land there, we don't have a ton of land forces there, but... God damn it, I thought maybe they'd route themselves around the submarine, not through it, you idiots. That was stupid. It knew there was a unit there. I thought it would route it around it. Okay. 579 for the Americans. Is that if you land in Japan? Because, again, they get units as soon as you move within a certain proximity of Japan. Yes, I saw there's a known U-boat there, but I just assumed that it wouldn't let me move if it was auto going to stop them. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad assumption on my part. All right, let's end the turn. We're going to be moving into April of 45. We'll see how much longer the Russians can hold out. The game ends sometime in 46, right? So, like, maybe we can force a draw? Well, if we can't land in Japan, then I'll land in the rear of China. That's the other alternative. All right, everyone. Well, that was a bad turn, but also kind of an inevitable one we've been expecting for about a year now. Moscow did fall to the German forces this turn. That was not the outcome that we were hoping for, but I think even at the start of the episode, we sort of prefaced that it seemed likely. We'll see how things play out in our next episode. Russia still is at war, still is hanging in there. It has a large number of units, still both, in the Moscow area and also around Perm. The Russian forces' fighting effectiveness has been dramatically reduced, but I do have some Cossacks on the way that I'm hopeful might be able to provide an interesting distraction, maybe drive into the rear of the German units. I don't know if they have less in the way of supply penalties than some of our other Russian units, but that certainly would be something that would be nice to be able to figure out some way to slow the Germans and bring their inevitable onslaught to a halt. But that'll be for next time. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. Please leave your thoughts below as always. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.